Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, John Willis. Hi, John.
How's it going, Bart?
Good. Nice to see you. Welcome back.
Always good to be here, man. Always good to be here.
Yeah,
You're not helping my diet with those pictures of those chocolate chip cookies, though, Bart.
We'll save you one.
Yes, sir.
Not only are you with the city, but you're also a county commissioner
Yes, sir.
as well.
7th District County Commissioner. Yes, sir.
And you were busy this past weekend, in fact, all day today. Well, just as an example, how many MLK events have you been to in the last 3 days?
Last 3 days, ooh. So you got Friday, we had the one in the morning, and then a presentation in the evening. So that was 2. Saturday, we had 1. Sunday, 1, a big one. And then today, this is the 3rd. So 3 earlier, and this is the 4th. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I would say our community does a great job of celebrating MLK Day.
We do. You have to be really proud. I don't know, well, I know you were there because I seen you. The MLK breakfast, I don't know if that was the largest crowd that I've seen, but it's to me, from my perspective, that was the largest crowd that I've seen, and a very, very diverse crowd. So kudos to the MLK Diversity Committee and the Chamber of Commerce for a wonderful breakfast. Breakfast.
500 people.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, it was a filled room for certain, man. A filled room there. So.
Yeah, they told me 500 people RSVP'd, but there were a handful more that
showed up. Yeah, yeah. But I was talking to Kathy Brechtebauer. She's like, "You guys got any room over there?" we were all topped out, but they did make room for those that showed up. A wonderful presentation. The speaker had a great singing voice too.
She shocked a lot of people.
She did. She sung beautifully there, Mrs. Bailey. So that was awesome.
Yeah, Dr. Bailey, she came in from the Detroit area and gave a great speech. And she started her speech by singing the national anthem, and it was unbelievable.
Yeah, very soulful rendition. She's the first lady. Her husband's a pastor, so I'm quite sure she's got some vocal leading experience because she sang really, really well. She did great there. So.
And then Saturday night, we just talked a little bit about the MLK Medal of Service Award, which you're very familiar with as well.
Most definitely, man. We received the award, I think, in 2008. And the person who received the award yesterday was the one that presented me with the award. So, actually, no, I take that back. Yeah, it was. And Lee has been so instrumental in so many different people's lives in our community. His father was a longtime mentor of mine, one of the people that helped shape my life, Pastor Frank Hampton Jr., so at the Church of God in Jackson, Michigan. So I grew up there, a great influence on my life. To this day, a lot of the principles and the things that we hold close to, we receive from there. So to see Lee start to walk in those steps after him is amazing. Lee's been like a quiet force in a lot of different areas of people's lives. For example, our city manager, Lee, was a part of the DDA when Jonathan Green came in and was on the director of the DDA. And to come back, for me, I would have never been a Jackson College coach were it not for Lee Hampton asked me, hey, take a look at this assistant's position. You know, different things have grown from the connections that he has. So Lee has done a very phenomenal job working hard in this community, mentoring the Sisters of Strength Men of Merit program, and just building relationships all across a lot of different walks of life, a lot of different levels of community. So he's done a phenomenal job.
I agree with you, John, and I think a lot that Lee does, no one knows about, because Lee, by design, wants to keep a lot of what he does quiet.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. He's not a guy that goes around beating his chest on that. So he does the work. And as a matter of fact, Kelly told a little bit about it that night, but we basically had to force Lee to receive this award.
That's right.
I had to force him. I literally called, a lot of people don't know, before we moved to Jackson, when we were in Detroit, Ypsilanti area, I would come up to Jackson, I would stay with the Hamptons, so that's like family to me. Mm-hmm. So I was calling everybody. I called all his big brothers, all his big sisters, and say, hey, Lee's not taking this award. So we had some outside pressure, to help get him into that point where he will receive the award. And the award is based on the work that was done, the work that's been completed, and I want to recognize it for that. So we're real glad that Marcina and Frankie and Basil and those, they all chipped in to make sure, hey, little brother, go get this award. So, but it was great for him to receive it. So,
I'm glad you kept at it because he's definitely deserving.
Yes.
There's a handful of others in this community that have been nominated that have said, no, not now. Some other time.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And Antonio Bass, man, was that a moving story or what?
I couldn't believe it.
Oh my gosh, that was such a moving story, man. I mean, to hear this young man who actually played at exchange football with us, me and Anthony Parker were coaches over that time, who has always been a superb talent and so humble about it. We'd be in a game, Bart, he had 4 or 5 touchdowns. After the game, you couldn't tell which kid had the touchdowns because he was just fit right in with the kids. He was one of the kids. He never like made himself special or stand out or expected to receive anything special. His dad was tough on him, but we see it paid off for him. But to have your life change at the blink of an eye, and be able to adapt and become a professional on the level that he has achieved, to hear him tell that story, man, that was so powerful and passionate. To have to commend Antoine Breedlove at Jackson College for a phenomenal job that he did with that program, and Antonio Bass went outside of his normal comfort level because he wanted to share that story with us here in Jackson.
And it was very difficult for him too.
Yeah,
As you'll
was.
see, we'll have a clip of it coming up this week, but
Yes.
it was a very emotional experience. Here we are, 20 years
Yes, sir.
later.
Yes.
Well, not quite 20, but about 20, is it?
Yeah,
so
yes, sir, it is.
He almost, and he had a hard time talking about it.
38, about 30, 37, 38 around in there. So yes, sir.
He almost
20
died.
years ago. Yeah, he did, and or amputated a leg. It was just an incident that was so a non-contact drill, just where something leg goes the opposite way, and it's a blessing to see him come into his strength where he is now. His mom Tammy and his dad Antonio, we know them both, and they raised a great young man. And there's his brother Monty and Dominique, those are all good guys too. But it's just great to see him, who had so much expectation on him and met it every single time. Yes. I mean, I watched him playing games where everybody knew he was finna run the ball. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. You just couldn't stop him. And then to see him starting to do that on the Power 5 football level as a freshman, it was amazing. One of the stories that I have, I don't even know if he knows that I know this story, but they had him race the fastest guy on the team, who was Manningham, the receiver at that time. Antoine beat him. Yes,
really?
Yes. So being the fastest guy from Jackson at University of that place down the street, but
Well, I was glad, as did Lee, gave a lot of credit to his parents. And Antonio talked about his family and his parents, and I remember when Antonio was playing at Jackson High, you go into Art Van, and his dad was one of the
salesman there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he didn't want to talk about furniture. It was all about Antonio.
Yeah, he was, man. He really made sure that he didn't. A lot of times with young people like that, you have so many people that try to enter their lives or try to take over, and his dad wasn't having. He was making sure that he stayed on the path he's supposed to stay on. And his mom Tam's a very nice, quiet, quick to smile lady. Also very quick to let you know this is off. This is not a discussion for you. So, but his family did a really, really good job with him. He was very, very proud of that entire family, and then to see him come back and be the keynote speaker here in our little town, that was amazing.
Yep. Antonio, you have done your community proud.
Yes, you have. No question about it.
John, one of the other things I wanted to talk to you about was the MLK corridor. You're shepherding the MLK Corridor Improvement Authority, and it sounds like there are some really big things bubbling up right now.
Yes, sir.
Including the reconstruction of the road, but there's some other stuff.
Sir. Yes, sir. We got some huge stuff going, man. Without going into great detail, what everyone thought was almost impossible seems to be in the making now. We started to have some conversations about what a grocery store could look like and who the potential people could be for what we're trying to do. So we're really excited about it, Bart. It's been a challenge. It's been a challenge to watch the community that has had a desire for a grocery store, and a community that at one time had 5 grocery stores just on Francis Street between 1960 and 1970. There were 5 stores. And then even when I came to Jackson, there were still 2 grocery stores. We had the Shop and Save right in the Prospect Market, and then you had the IGA, Blacks and Evans IGA, down the street. So to not have a grocery store in over 20 years, and to seemingly have that prospect about to come to fruition or about to get started, it's amazing. So we're really excited for the economic change. Put almost $1 million back into the community for economic growth and development through the MLK Business and Entrepreneurship Program. So that's exciting to see different businesses to ride down the street and see places like Mikey's Barbershop. If you've seen that before, it was a old gas station that just had like 2 little brick pillars and a roof over it. And see, I think Mike said it's actually tripled the square footage that he had. And to see it now, it's a great looking facility, and other facilities in the area that have upgraded their businesses. Jack's Takeout, Stop One Party Store added a paved parking lot. We've got new funds going to some of the other places, the other gas station on Francis Street, Omer's S&G Mini Mart, and some other places. To see Pryor, who's worked really, really hard to get his business going, receive another grant that will help him facilitate the needs of his business. It's what really the MLK corridor is all about. One of the biggest things, Bart, that the MLK corridor is doing is that it's built around a context of understanding. Our city understood that there was some harm done, a disinvestment that took place in the community, and they made an effort to start to restore that. That's huge. That's a huge step in progress for our community, realizing that, hey, you know what, we did have decades of a disinvestment, so let's reinvest, but not just reinvest to throw money out, no, let's build this community up. Jackson is really growing in a lot of ways, man. As we ride around, you look at the different stuff. Downtown is amazing. Is amazing compared to what we once were. And ride down West Avenue now, we got the Chick-fil-A going in there. We got some growth going in different spots. They're talking about the East Side Corridor development now. We started downtown and we got the heart pumping. Now it's time to send some things out to those veins throughout the city.
All right, well,
so
that's how it's working, and it is an exciting time to be in Jackson. Good to see you, John. Thank you.
It's always exciting to be at the NBC studios of Jackson, Bart. This is it right here, man. I always enjoy coming. I always enjoy sharing with you. You always make it interesting, and you have since you had the little button working loud. I always remind you of that, Bart, but it's just amazing to me. So for those that don't know, when I first came to do an interview with Bart, he was at the Crossing. At the time, it was the Paca Plaza then. Yeah. But he had a little switch that was broken. The top of the switch was broken, but he was working the camera with that switch and talking to me doing the interview with the other. I thought that was pretty amazing. Yeah. Ability to multitask right there. I remember that very well. I think it was that 1450 then?
Well, we've been doing this, that was the late 1990s when we started.
Yes, sir.
All right. Always great.
All right, Bart. Thanks a million, man. Thanks so much for what you all do. Appreciate you, Karen, Joe, Andy. This is a phenomenal. Trish, all the guys, Dave, everybody that comes around, man. It's just amazing to be here.
Thanks, John.
All right.
John Willis.
Sir. Thanks a lot. All right. Take care. Have a blessed day. Yes, sir.
More to come on today's show. Next, we're going to preview the next